Hello, YouTube. We've just finished watching the Tekken Talk Season 2 1 week before Season 2 releases. The changes they've shown us have been pretty concerning, and I don't want to be like a doomer. I don't want to be dramatic about it, but I want to convey why a lot of high-level players have seemed very concerned about these types of things. I don't know if this will be the best way to explain it, but this is the best thing I can come up with in the moment. So the statement I want to address, and this is not calling out the chatter for being like wrong or being like, I don't think their statement is dumb. I just want to inform based on this statement. So the statement was this: like it or not, pro players will have excellent defense regardless because they will do the homework and the lab work. Character identity exists and thrives at a casual level because of powerful tools. And I agree with this statement. However, I want to add a layer of it to it where I explain that the changes shown in the Season 2 patch update don't show a lot of depth to the defense. And to just show you how deep Tekken defense can go, I want to show you this video. This is Speed Kicks' a low quality video, Knee's legendary jab.
Get ready for the next battle.
And I'll just read out the subtitles as it plays out because that's what kind of video this is. This is Knee versus Kudans. Kudans on Devil Jin, Knee on Bryant. Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection. That's what DR stands for, right? I always call it DR. Wait. Play that back. Brian versus Devil Jin. 8-frame jab. Brian. 8-frame jab, weak pokes, easy to counter hit and punish. Devil Jin. Literally the same character from Tekken 7. If you don't know what Devil Jin is, he's a poke character with a hell sweep and an electric. And a demon paw. Forward 2. Sidestep left, down back is good against potential Devil Jin aggression, but bad react on the jab. Knee manages to interrupt with a jab, but Brian's offense is mostly slower attacks. Kudan shows it no respect. Knee eats this forward 2 for stepping at a bad time, since Kudan's attacked on immediate timing. Immediate timing means as soon as you're in the range of options. Okay, hold on. A lot just happened. Let's go back. Instead of the greedy sidestep left down back round 1 opening, which Knee did earlier, Knee safely backdashes out of range. Then immediately steps into range 0, where he forces Kudans to play around his 8-frame jab. Using forward movement to stay in the range of his jab threat, and canceling into fuzzy ducks to neutralize the attacks that beat his forward movement. This is what happened round 1. Kudans jabbed him out of his movement. So Knee is running in and ducking. Knee's pretty good. Right? Do you want to see that again? Look at this again. Round 1, Kudans mashes him out. So Knee stays in range and ducks. Kudans goes to keep out attacks to contest Knee's attempt to win at range 0. Kudans doesn't want to attack on immediate timing due to Knee's jabbing. Remember that immediate okay, so one more time. Kudans does not want to attack on immediate timing. What is he doing instead? He's swinging from a distance to try and incentivize Knee to slow down, to deny his attempt to win range 0. So, once Kudans is in range, he doesn't want to attack because he doesn't want to run into the jab. This is what happened last time. Knee steps and eats the forward 2. But because Kudans had delayed his timing, he was able to find the sidestep. One more time. Remember that immediate timing thing that hit Knee's sidestep? Kudans attacked right away, so it tracked him? What happens without it? That's right. It's easy to sidestep when you control the timing of your opponent's attack. He missed his taunt jet upper. Back roll catch. The old Tekken thing. Nice up forward 4, catching the duck. This game is sick. Down back 3. Round 3. That was 2 rounds. Devil Jin's buttons are better than Brian's buttons, but Kudans doesn't want to whiff. Knee has established control of this match with movement and a jab. Using down 4 and down 2 so Kudans doesn't stand there and block all day. If you don't contest him, then you lose to this slow and weak mix-up, the down 4 and the down 2. But if you do attack and he controls the timing and forces you to whiff, then you die. Scary stuff. From here, he just kind of wins. Enjoy. Delayed hop kick punish on the hell sweep. All right, so does that make sense? That was fast. Let's show it again from the beginning. Now that you've seen the video straight through, look at round 1 again, okay? Sidestep left, duck. He attempts to punish the jab, but he's late. How much sidestep left ducking can you do against a homing plus frame mid? Jab, Kudan's mashes. Then beats him up close, all right? And then he says, wait, what happens? We'll watch it again one more time. I think it's important to just take this in. Sidestep left, down back, but bad react. That's half HP, by the way. Damage is not the issue. That damage is not the issue here. Knee manages to interrupt with a jab. Kudan's does not care. He knows Brian has slower buttons, so he keeps attacking. And then the forward 2 catches the bad sidestep. This is not track and 5. This is a bad sidestep. So, Knee runs in, jabbing, threatening his moves. Not jabbing every time, but trying to jab to stop Kudan's attacks. Now look at how much Kudan started whiffing. Knee's in his face. Now Kudan's is like, oh, when he's in my face, I can't do shit. So look at this. Electric from a distance. 1 from a distance. Electric from a distance. 1, 2. He starts swinging from far away to keep him out. Forward 2. And now that he knows that Kudan doesn't want to deal with the pressure up close, wave dash, delayed forward 2. And that's where the jet upper comes through. So Knee has been pressuring him just by the jab being up close and the movement in his face. Casual players are never going to interact with this level of defense. Stuff like heater backdashes getting buffed to KBD exists to be able to force your game plan, which is what people find fun. This is fun at a pro level, but this is also why something like MVC2 is unapproachable to a casual. The layers of defense are too difficult to approach intelligently at the speed of the game. There are similar tools to this available in the game, but it's obviously different and doesn't allow the same. I also agree with this. So I don't have a problem with this statement either. I don't have a problem with this statement at all. What I think can make good design is accounting for this while you make beginner-friendly things exist. And to me, Tekken 8, honestly, I feel like Tekken 8 was kind of there. I'm going to be so real. I feel like the most recent patch of Tekken 8, aside from the really egregious problems like Dragunov, Yoshimitsu, Nina Williams, there were great examples of this. I think Reyna's actually a good example of this, right? If you're a medium level player against another medium level player, you don't have to have the most insane defense to deal with this mix up, right? We just did a Lily Pichu coaching video where you just like basically jab Reyna out of this and then you call out the lows. I think that's pretty reasonable. A good example of casual players will never interact with it, but they also don't have to, is probably Kazuya, right? Kazuya, everything loses to sidewalk left, right? Everything loses like that. So, the idea with Kazuya is that he has this very glaring weakness. But we also know that casual players don't even sidestep. They don't understand it. So why are we giving characters these options to cover it if the defender is not sidestepping? Do you know what I mean? Like, why does the attacker have to have these really oppressive options if the defender is not taking advantage of it in the first place? They gave a clue of their reasoning in the interview. They said even when you're fighting a high-level player, you want them to have the thought that they can win, right? They don't know about this, even though this is part of the reason people pick Kazuya is because he's hard, right? This is the stuff that's hard but cool. You dash realign, or geez, I can't even do it. Look, like this is what makes Kazuya cool. You do a dash electric to realign. That's what I mean. So like, if low-level players aren't doing the defense, is it necessary to buff the offense? And that's why I'm hoping that the changes that we see that they didn't show are a lot of like sidestepping and defense stuff. We don't know if the sidestep is going to be better or not, right? We don't know if it's gonna change the situations, but we did see, for example, that running 4 into low heat smash can be done more than once now. And I think it did 38 damage in the Tekken talk. So what's curious is, sure, she has this, a +8 homing high into a heat smash, but maybe the heat smash is steppable now. So if that's the case, then maybe this is totally fine. Maybe this change that I was upset about is actually not a big deal. But based on the information we have currently, it feels like they want this to create a guess situation. They want to create a situation where you have to guess. And that's what's weird. They want you to succeed as the attacker. And there's not a lot of high percentage ways to defend around it as the defender, except for guessing. Unless, of course, and this is another hypothetical change. What if they make this more reactable? So running 4, what if they make running 4 reactable? And then running 3 much like faster, right? So running 4 is slow and running 3 is fast. In that case, then high level players will react to the high and duck it, right? But I don't think they're going to do that because they also talked about a change to Jin where they made his lows less reactable. They changed this move from 24 frames to 21 because they don't want you shutting off defense with reactions. So while the layers of defense are difficult, especially for casuals, the layers of defense only matter if the offense is also layered. But if both players don't really know what they're doing and are just kind of swinging and going back and forth, isn't that balanced? You know what I mean? Like I don't need to do sidestep left duck if my opponent isn't doing realign electrics. Or, you know, if my opponent's just throwing electric, I'll just sidewalk and then I'm around it. Yeah, I don't know, man. I agree with these statements, but I think it's important to recognize that Tekken offers so much depth in offense and defense. What I'm guessing other people like me are upset about is the reduction of that depth, right? Turning that depth into a rock, paper, scissors interaction. Lars has a homing +5 on block mid. Full screen. The counterplay to this is hit him first, right? Or backdash out of range, assuming he's doing it from that far. But usually a Lars player is doing it on wake up, so you kind of have to wake up and just block it anyways. And then if you mash first early, you can run into this. And now this move jails. So the second hit, even if you're prepared for it, you can't duck the second hit. So you can't necessarily mash either because he basically has a jab from the same range that he has the +5 on block mid. What was a game of sidestep at distance, backdash at distance, things like that, is now, do I interrupt him or do I respect it? Did I choose to respect it? Now he gets the guess. This move also got bust. I've just played Tekken 6 recently. This move used to be reactable and launch punishable. Now it's -12, counter hit launching, and 17 frames. So it's very difficult to react to, if not impossible. So, yeah, it's not that I disagree with the reasoning behind why they did these things, but I think it's difficult to co-sign it when you appreciate the depth that went into this kind of gameplay, where every little movement can matter at generating pressure, at relieving pressure, at changing the way your opponent plays. And while we are, like, to be honest, I think if you go back to Tekken 5 DR and you give 2 players this game that are new, they're still having fun. It doesn't have as many explosive animations and big things like that, but there's still ways to have fun playing this kind of Tekken. It's just a different kind of fun. If you give 2 Bushin players this game right here, they're not doing this. If you put me in this game, I'm not doing this, man. I'm not doing this. I'm literally not. So if I can't do it, why take away the ability to do it? If I'm not benefiting from this as the attacker or the defender, why take it away from the people that can do it? You know what I mean? And as spectators, I think this is very appreciable with good commentary. You know? I think it's very doable to make this interesting to spectators. It's just a difference in philosophy right now. And again, I want to be clear. We don't know the season 2 changes. So maybe the sidesteps will be insanely good and we'll be fine. But I have my doubts because they've given, what, a lot of attack into stance, and stances are in general supposed to be kind of cookie cutter offense. They gave Zafina this homing mid where the answer really is just block. They turned one of her strings into being completely safe. You're not going to be doing dash up, sidestep, duck against this move. You're just going to stand block. The option now is stand block or interrupt. You know? Stand block or interrupt. There's not a lot of options to deal with this. If you try to backdash to play out of range, she has her advancing moves, which is fine. Again, there's bounce here, but and then they made this move safe. In general, mids historically in Tekken are not like safe. Especially mid strings. But now blocking is worse. This you have to. I'm assuming you have to sidestep to call this out. I'm assuming you have to sidestep to call this mid out because that's the only reason the balance would make sense. If they turn this mid string into something safe, it would have to be sidesteppable, right? But again, is there a lot? I ask you, is there a lot of depth to this style of interaction? If she does the homing mid and I need to stand block, or she does the safe mid string that I need to sidewalk. Those are two options. Three options. Stand block, jab, sidestep. Three options. If we go back to this example, if Devil Jin is doing the Demon Paw, the one that knee sidestepped and launched, he's only able to do this because there's no homing option to stop the sidestep. He used the jab to change the way Devil Jin attacks him, and then he sidesteps it. In the same way, the counterplay for cooldowns here is to chase that sidestep. So now you have layers. Do I sidestep? Do I block? Do I swing? Do I wait a bit and then sidestep? You get all these little extra layers on top of that. These moves just kind of negate that. Anyways, I've rambled a lot. My whole point is that I don't want to be a doomer. We need to see the defensive situations. We need to get our hands on it. But the vibe is very cookie cutter offense. Yes, the hard read option and be correct or be wrong. The idea of like a soft read is kind of missing, or like a 50% confidence read versus like, okay, if I want to stop Reina from mixing me here, I'm going to have to duck. And those are the only two options. And like, it's not just the old characters too. It's Anna, right? And Anna's been a guess heavy character in the past, so that's not even that crazy. I'm pretty sure Anna has done stuff like this before. Her forward 2 used to be homing, right? And it still is. But the difference now with her forward 2, whereas before it was a relatively short range move, it now is like insane. She uses her rocket launcher, so the range is crazy. Like, you won't catch me saying like the game is dead because I haven't tried it yet. But the interplay between the homing high, that's plus, right? So there's more to it too. But the homing high, that's plus, and the mid heat engager, that's safe, which is right here. The dynamic between that is not as deep. But on top of that, if you give plus frames for the homing option, it creates a looping situation. So traditionally in Tekken, homing moves tend to be minus, right? Especially homing mids. I know highs are a bit different. Homing mids tend to be safe, but give up your turn so that you can't just keep spamming, don't do anything, right? The only way I think this seems kind of fair, or sorry, fair is not the right word. The only way to me this seems interesting is it's plus, it's hugely advantageous, has a lot of range, but the situation after doesn't give her enough damage to like end the round, right? So like you see that this gives a knockdown into a follow-up, and then if Anna knocks you down, what happens is she gets a mix-up. She gets her full crouch mix-up. That's how the character usually functions. So if you look at the damage Nina took for eating that homing high, alone it's not crazy, but the mix-up opportunity means that this could turn into like this HP or like a wall situation. So, I don't know. I don't know what is up with these design changes, and I want to get my hands on the game and actually test the changes. But again, I have no problem with catering to casuals. I have no problem with accessibility things or like better clarity and things like that. The problem I have is in the effort to cater to casuals, they're actively deleting things that make it more interesting at a high level. I think there can be ways to cater to casuals in a way that doesn't delete fun parts of the game. It's not a what issue, it's a how issue, right? So the big we'll see. Hopefully that gives context on how we feel. And yeah. Thanks for sitting through an old man's rant. Really what it is. It's just an old man ranting about what Tekken used to be. Catch you guys later.